Hello YouTube. So today we will be talking about the 5th season of Arrow, and with keeping in our theme of talking about the superhero shows, we are doing this very late. So yeah, let's just get right into it. I already brought up spoilers, but yeah, in case if for whatever reason you thought I was lying, I wasn't. There will be spoilers here. So let's talk about what happened this season. Well, after the events of last season, what with Laurel dying, that'll never not be a happy thought to me. But yeah, with her dying, the team sort of decided that, yeah, they should probably split up. With Diggle going back off to war, because obviously, after seeing a friend die, obviously you want to go to somewhere where there's more death. Very, very sound reasoning there. He doesn't go and, I don't know, be with his family or anything. You know, I mean, he does have a kid, he has a wife. No, no, no. Clearly, you shouldn't go spend time with them. What you should do, go off to war. Obviously. And Thea goes very far away in becoming Oliver's assistant. Yeah, she doesn't really stray that far, but she does later, so that's something. But yeah, Oliver is still mayor after the last season, and yeah, he's still also the Green Arrow. And Felicity is really the only one from the original team, or, well, pretty much the existing team still around to help him out. So she recommends that they get some help. But Oliver is completely against this idea because, a team is helpful? Yeah, okay, I guess it could be because he doesn't want to lose anyone who he cares about again, like he did with Laurel, but still, dude, you need help. Just admit it. But yeah, for whatever reason, he doesn't want to. So, yeah, eventually, after a whole episode of convincing, he's completely ready to get a team. And that team consists of Curtis, who was introduced last season, going by the alias Mr. Terrific. Yep, Mr. Terrific is here. That's pretty cool. They got, Renee. Who is he? Wild Dog. I have never heard of this character in my life. So yeah, he's there. We get Evelyn, who was Artemis. Yeah. Artemis. She was so much more interesting on Young Justice. You know, it's really a shame when I can say that a kid's show did something better than a show made for teens. But yeah, she was so much more interesting there. And it also consists of Rory, who is aka Ragman. Yeah, again, another character that I never heard of, but I have had a little bit of an opportunity to find out a bit about him. I just didn't really take advantage of it. So yeah, me not knowing about Ragman is really my own fault there, but yeah, he's Ragman. Good for him. So yeah, that's the new team. And they just immediately trust Oliver because he revealed to them that he is in fact Oliver Queen. And since he's able to reveal that to them, even though like probably half of Star City knows that at this point, that automatically means that they are on his side. So yeah, they're all helping him out in defeating crime, mostly with a new criminal who just randomly entered the scene with no real development whatsoever, Church. Unfortunately not Church from Red vs. Blue, and then he dies very quick. So yeah, I'm so glad that he was there. And also, while all that's happening, Diggle is framed for a crime. Yeah, really, really worked out well for you in going off to war there. Also, Thea left. I forget the reason why she left. She just left. So, yeah. Also, Lance is an alcoholic again. Nice to know his development has taken a step backwards. So glad that happened. God. So yeah, Arrow still really is the weakest out of all these shows. But anyway, yeah, things start getting sort of more interesting when another enemy enters the scene. Prometheus. He is yet another villain on Arrow who shoots arrows as well. And wears a big, weird black leather costume. Yeah. So glad this show changed things up. Really, most of the show's villains have been people who are very skilled in weapons. That's kind of it, really. Like, okay, first season, Malcolm Merlyn. He's very skilled in weapons, and he wears pretty much the exact same costume that Oliver wears, except it's in the color black. Very different now. And then the second season, we have Slade, another guy very skilled in weapons, except he has a different skill set and had a drug injected into him. Yay, that made him different. Although I will say, those two were the most interesting, because after him, we got Ra's al Ghul. He's yet another guy who is very good in weapons, but he's more skilled because he went into a pit that brings you back to life. Yeah, comics can be weird sometimes. And then we got Damien Darhk, probably the character that actually was the most original for the show's Rogue Gallery, although somehow the most boring as well. He did magic. And that was pretty much it. He had a relationship with his family, which was kind of nice, but never really went anywhere. So yeah, all the villains here have been pretty boring. Will Prometheus change that? Not really. I mean, like, outside the first two seasons, the villains have been very boring to me. It's like, okay, Ra's al Ghul, he's kind of in between, but after the first two seasons, they really got boring. And heck, you could even argue Malcolm got kind of boring after a while because, well, he just sort of became he just sort of wore out to me. Like, they just kept on bringing him back when, yeah, his arc was long over at this point. But yeah, anyway, I'm just ranting about the villains here. So yeah, the new villain Prometheus, he does villain stuff. That's pretty much it for him. He just sort of does villain stuff in the side. And much like most of these shows, they keep on trying to make you think, who's the villain? Who could it really be? Who is Prometheus? He wears a mask. We will never know. Okay, spoilers. I know I already said spoilers. It's Adrian Chase. Yeah, that's right. The annoying guy who just sort of handles the PC department for Oliver's and Mayer's stuff. I really forgot what his real job was. Was he a lawyer or something? I'm pretty sure he was, but like, I mostly remember him just covering the PC stuff. So yeah, Adrian, he was apparently the son of one of the first guys Oliver killed when he came back as the Green Arrow, and now he came back just, 5 years later to finally seek out his revenge. So yeah. So in all that time, he became a master at weapons and strategy thinking, and also was able to become a professional lawyer or some sort of profession in the government, in at least a form of government. I mean, I don't really remember what his job is. That's why I can't say that he got a law degree for certain. But yeah, either way, he would still have to have at least a college degree to do this. So that means either he was in college at the age of 10, or like, I don't know, like when he was supposed to be in high school. Maybe he skipped a few years because he was so clever. Even though I don't really remember them saying that he was until he needed to be. Or he just time traveled in order to do this. I really don't know. And frankly, time travel could actually be an option here. I mean, it is in keeping with the Arrowverse. There's Time Lords. Okay, Time Masters, sorry. There are Time Masters, and there are speedsters that can go through time. So yeah, who knows? He could have actually time traveled here. We have no idea. But yeah, anyway, he did all that in 5 years. Yeah, I really doubt that. So yeah, he's the main villain of this season, although there are some other villains on the side that enter the picture. The one that I want to talk about the most is Vigilante. I had to wait for a second to remember his name. Yeah, Vigilante. God, was he a wasted opportunity. I will get to why later. It's just, yeah, he was pretty wasted to me, if you want my opinion. Really wasting this character here. So yeah, anyway, they continue to fight Prometheus, or try at least to figure out who he is. And while that's happening, they try and recruit some more people. Like they get Diggle back into Team Arrow. Why is he joined? Because they got him out of this war thing. So obviously, he's over all the problems that he had with being on Team Arrow, which is why he left. Well, I'm so glad that he developed as a character here. Yeah, really, that's the only character development he gets this season, outside of maybe wanting to help Oliver a bit later, but, like, even at that, wasn't really all that interesting. But yeah, his character development being exactly where he was last season, except with a new team here. Yay! So glad that he developed a lot. So yeah, not too much development for you, Diggle. I'm sorry. But yeah, anyway, they continue to try and recruit people, including Diana, I don't care. Yeah, the new Black Canary. And I gotta say, she is freaking awesome. Really, compared to Laurel Lance on this show, who, by the way, if you don't know already, I hate, or at least this version of her. I usually like Laurel Lance, but yeah, here, she really got on my nerves. And seeing her get hit by a truck, okay, by a car on The Flash, I very much enjoyed. And watching her die was also fun to me. So yeah, either I'm very messed up or I really very much hate this character. So I'm just gonna go with the better option, which is I hate this character. So yeah, seeing her finally be off of this show until she comes back later as a different character, I'll get onto that. But yeah, seeing her finally being off the show and seeing an actual cool character take her place as, well, what I actually wanted out Black Canary in the first place was a really awesome thing to me. However, I have a problem. A huge one, in fact. The place where they meet her. Okay. So, where do they meet the new Black Canary? Hub City. Yeah. They go to Hub City. After years of teasing Hub City, and years of actually kind of subtly referencing the question, well, what with the Huntress being in the show, and I can't really remember if she died or not. Pretty sure that she lived, but I can't really remember. I'm not gonna go back to check. But and also the question, first two issues, or released his first two annual issues, he actually teamed up with the Green Arrow. So in a way, it sort of seemed like a natural fit to me that the question would be on the show at some point. I mean, his character tone already really fits the show, and I would have loved to see him on here because you can't tell by my attire and the fact that I have one of his comics back here. I love the question. He is by far my favorite DC character. And yeah, compared to characters like Superman, who I really enjoy, Aquaman, Nightwing, characters like that, saying that is a pretty big thing to me. In fact, the question is kind of in a tied place for my favorite superhero of all time. Even if he doesn't have any superpowers, I just love this character and the film noir style of him. So yeah, they go to Hub City, and he isn't even referenced. To say I was annoyed by this is an understatement. So yeah, they go there. Like they find out about what Diana's up to and everything. But you know what I would have liked? Them finding out about her from reports from Vic Sage or something. I remember, yeah, okay, there was a reporter that they find out about a few of these characters that they look up for a new recruit in this episode, but I can't really remember if they say that Vic Sage is one of them, and I'm pretty sure that he wasn't, because I kept a really close eye out for stuff like that in this episode. You guys have no idea how excited I was to see this. I was so excited for this. They kept on bringing up Hub City, and for them to finally go there, to just to finally be there in a place where the question could actually be. They could meet up with them and they could team up and be awesome. He is never seen once. You know what would have been really easy? Spray paint a freaking question mark on the wall, preferably in yellow, because in the 1987 comics he had a little card that he would pass out that had yellow question mark on it with a white border around it. I would have loved seeing that on the wall. That would have like spray paint on some wall. That would have been such a subtle reference to the character and a really nice one for fans. I would have loved seeing that, but no, the show couldn't go out of their way and, I don't know, get someone to spray paint a yellow question mark on the wall, because that would just be way too hard. No. Instead, what they needed to do was completely cut out the character and not have him exist whatsoever in Hub City, because, you know, that's just his hometown, and yeah, he's just a character that has been in the comics ever since 1987, or if you want to go back further, ever since the first Blue Beetle comic. So yeah, he's been there ever since that time. At least 1987, if you want to be accurate as to when he actually joined DC. So yeah, ever since 1987, this character has been around. And heck, he still gets more interpretations. I mean, sure, there are some versions I don't really like as much as others when he's a girl. But yeah, overall, he's still an interesting character. I do like his more interpretations outside of when he's like a mystic guy who is in touch with his city. That was really weird. But yeah, anyway, outside of those things, I really do love this character, and I was so excited to finally maybe at least see a reference to him, so then maybe either this season or the next we could actually get him in the show. But no! Obviously, we shouldn't have that at all. Instead, we should just be focusing on all this. You know, it really wouldn't have been that hard to spray paint a freaking question mark on the wall! Would that have been hard? No. It would have been so fast. It would have taken like 5 freaking minutes. But no, we couldn't do that. That would have, I don't know, vandalized the set. So obviously they couldn't do that. I'm very angry about this. Now, to be fair, I will say this. Hub City looks freaking awesome. It's very similar to its comic book counterpart, which is pretty much a city even more corrupt than Gotham. In fact, they say at one point in the 1987 run that all the bad stuff that's too bad for Gotham goes into Hub City. And there are pretty much riots in the streets like every year over things like not having a mayor for a while. Or at least for like a day. Like immediately after they lost their mayor, everyone goes rioting in the streets. It's kind of amazing actually. But yeah, I will say they at least captured that very well, and it is very similar to its comic book counterpart, especially in design and with the people that inhabit Hub City. I really loved stuff like that. But I cannot overlook the fact that it would have been so simple to have at least spray painted a freaking question mark on the wall, which they didn't have the time to do. Now, okay, maybe they were filming in an actual city and that would have been considered vandalism, but I don't know, they could have taken it off. I mean, like, they're going through the trouble of going to Hub City. Just please, who lives there? Put the character who lives there, who is the hero of Hub City, in this town. I want to see a small reference to him. I don't know, maybe have a guy in a blue trench coat walking around in the background. I don't care. Just something. Or maybe a guy with a mullet and that's blonde walking around in a normal trench coat. He sometimes wore a normal one, so I really don't care. Or maybe even the stupid blue jacket that was really long. I don't care. Do something. But no, we don't have time to put in the question. I have been ranting about this for probably too long now, but still, if you guys don't get it yet, I'm pissed. Although, I will say this, there is a chance that he might actually be a part of the show now, just not in the way I would have preferred, but here's my theory as to how he could come in. And if you guys don't want to hear a fan theory about this, then just skip ahead, I don't care. But yeah, my theory is pretty much, now after losing the only person who was actually protecting the city, Black Canary, now someone else would stand up and take her place. Someone like Vic Sage, a man who already tried to fight for the people of the town in Hub City and tried to bring out the truth. He would just go around doing it now in a way that he could bend the law a bit, or break it, depending as to what he's doing. So yeah, I would have really loved seeing something like that, but nope, nothing like that. I'll just sit here in my little sad nerd cave, just wanting the question to be in an episode. Will you ever be in an episode? I want you in one. I want him in one so bad. And now I'm just being a really, really lame nerd. So, yeah, anyway, back on what happened this season. So, yeah, they got Diana to join their little Arrow team. And, yeah, they're all just gonna go, you know, fight Prometheus. They're just gonna take the fight to him. And one of their biggest motivators, which is something that I forgot to talk about, was the death of Billy, a police officer who was dating Felicity for a short time. Was he important? Not really. It was just his death. And, yeah, his death was really stupid. I'll get to that later. But, yeah, anyway, they eventually find out who he is, although there's a little thing that shakes up the team. Evelyn is a traitor. I wasn't really that surprised, to be honest. I mean, like, she's already expressed a real hatred for killing, and then she found out that Oliver was a killer, and still kind of is. I mean, really, this season they're pretty lenient with him killing here, so, yeah. Not really all that surprised about that, but, yeah, anyway, she's evil. Woo! Shocking. So what does she do when she's evil? She messes with Oliver a little bit when Prometheus finally abducts him, and she points a bow at them later. Yep, so glad that we wasted the character of Artemis here. So yeah, Artemis really did get the shaft this season. Really, I was super disappointed by this. I was expecting Artemis to be a really cool character, like on Young Justice or something, really flesh her out or something, but nope, she just was very two-faced. Woo, interest. Yeah, she was super boring. Really, though, she was kind of boring when she joined Team Arrow, so I guess nothing was really lost. I mean, we even got some awesome replacement with Diana, so I don't really care. So, yeah. Evelyn's been working with Prometheus, and Prometheus is eventually revealed to have been Adrian Chase, which I already brought up, but yeah. He was secretly the villain. Ooh. Ooh. Amazing. Yeah, he got very boring to me very quick. So, yeah. You guys want to know who I thought Prometheus was? I was thinking Tommy. Remember that guy from season 1? I was really thinking him. I don't know, they brought up Tommy a lot this season, so I was really thinking, I don't know, the Lazarus Pit maybe? Time travel? Something. Something mysteriously brought him back to life, and I'll never know what it was, but it brought him back, and now he's being Prometheus. I was really thinking the Lazarus Pit because of, like, the character like Red Hood and stuff. I was really thinking that he was just gonna go like a Red Hood here, but nope. It was instead this guy who was introduced this season, a guy I didn't really care about. Woo! So yeah, pretty much throughout the rest of the season, it's Team Arrow versus Adrian and Evelyn. And they somehow outsmart the whole team because, I don't know, they're very boring villains who just are smart just because. So yeah, they're very boring. They keep on doing evil, boring things, and eventually they kidnap Oliver, and, well, okay, Oliver just kind of goes with them. Well, I can't really remember. I think they just went with them after something. I really didn't care at this point. At this point, I was super bored with Arrow, so I really wasn't paying that much attention. I'm pretty sure they got knocked out or something, but can't really say for certain. But yeah, anyway, they eventually get Arrow in a. They eventually get Oliver in a cell, and they try and get him to say he enjoys killing, which he does say, and then he's really upset about it for a while and doesn't even want to bring in the team to fight Prometheus anymore. Instead, he's gonna bring in his buddy Antony, who has been the flashbacks this whole time. Pretty much what the flashbacks are this season. Russian mob involvement, Russian mob stuff going on, and Oliver forming a bond with sort of the mob boss at the end, Antony. And yeah, that was a nice part. I actually very much liked that. Like I said, during the Hub City moments, this is when I was really excited to see the next episode. It also incorporated what was going on in the flashbacks. They were actually super interesting this season, and I actually did enjoy them for the most part. I mean, like, okay, at first I was super bored during it, especially with having to read Russian dialogue constantly, but yeah, honestly, I did like it for the most part. It was actually pretty engaging, especially once the Hub City stuff started to happen. That's when Nausea entered, Talia's sister, and yeah, it was actually really awesome, so I liked that. So, yeah. Oh, also, Adrian and Evelyn get some help from Nadia. Or Nausea? I don't think that's her name. I don't care. Anyway, Talia's sister. Who cares? So, yeah, she was just introduced this season, and she pretty much tried to help Oliver become the Green Arrow, but then realized, no, I hate the Green Arrow, for reasons that I either forgot or were never explained, and then she just joined up with Prometheus just because. So, eventually the final showdown happens on Lian Yu, where Oliver and all of Team Arrow, including some villains actually, like Malcolm, Slade, and Talia join the fight, and actually Slade's cured of his insanity. That's awesome. So yeah, they're all fighting together, and this is awesome. And then they fake us out with everyone dying except for Oliver and William. Yeah. I don't really know how to feel about this, because on the one hand, I'm pretty sure a lot of characters died here, so yeah, a lot of people just died. That's a pretty ballsy move there. It's just, a lot of characters died. A lot of characters we spent time getting to know just died. And some that we didn't get to know all that well, so yeah. Or characters who just had some developments just blew up on an island. So, yeah. Some of the character development this season was now completely pointless. So, yeah, a lot of characters just blew up, with Oliver and William seeing it, and for whatever reason, Adrian thinks that William, who is, by the way, Oliver's son, will not be scarred by this, because he's young. So, yeah, Adrian got killed, and that's what caused the island to blow up. So, yeah, I guess now we just gotta wait and see who survived this. So, for this season, I gotta admit, it's kind of a mixed bag to me. Sort of when the Hub City stuff started happening, and after that, that's when I was the most interested in this show. However, the Prometheus stuff to me was super boring. He was just super intelligent compared to all of Team Arrow, and he was always 5 steps ahead of them, and he was ahead of them all the time, and he had a plan for everything, and yeah, he's never been seen on the show before, so for this actually being a character that I don't really know anything about until now, yeah, I really thought that was pretty piss poor development there, because automatically he's just super intelligent and knows everything that's gonna happen. Really, he's super boring, to me at least. And just sort of when he's Prometheus. When he was Adrian, or at least for the first half of the season when he was Adrian, I really actually enjoyed him for the most part, but after he's revealed to be Prometheus, I was super disappointed by that. I really just I don't know, I just thought it'd be someone else, like literally anyone else. But yeah, Adrian just seemed really boring, and yeah, to me he really was. He was just insane, and that was really it. He was just a smart insanity, which we've seen on the show before. It's just that those are usually just weak characters. Instead, here, he's a full season villain, and yeah, pretty boring one at that. I really just didn't care about him here, and yeah, he was super boring and really was the most boring part of the second half of this season. However, I will say the second half of the season was actually pretty good, or at least compared to other seasons of Arrow. Like season 3 and season 4 were really bad in my opinion. While season 3 wasn't as bad, season 4 was awful in my opinion, or at least very, very on the fence about whether or not it was terrible or decent, or at least a bit. So yeah, I'm very on the fence about that, but yeah, at least the second half of this season definitely did make it more interesting than the last. Although the first half was pretty boring to me with war crime stuff going on, where I was just really hoping that Diggle, who was falsely accused of a war crime, would just sort of go off to join the A-Team or something, but nope, nothing like that happened. Would have been awesome though. John Diggle joining the A-Team. Really wish that had happened. But yeah, so that unfortunately never happened. I am incredibly disappointed now. But yeah, really a lot of characters just sort of get the shaft on development. Like Thea. What is she doing this season? She's still being Thea. She's still being, she's not Speedy anymore, but like she's okay still. It really didn't add anything to her. Which I will say, it's better than the bloodlust thing that was going on, because that was super boring, but yeah, still just sort of her being evil. I mean, okay, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm thinking about other characters, but yeah, it's just sort of her being Thea. She's still just being herself. It really, there's nothing to say about her here. She's just being Thea. That's really it. She's just doing what she does. Like, she's being Oliver's mayor assistant. That's it. That's really it. So, yeah. I guess that's good. They get some more development between her and Malcolm at the end of this season, but honestly, I feel like that was kind of forced at the end here, because Malcolm steps on a landmine. So, yeah. Okay, well, Thea steps on it, and Malcolm steps on it in her place, and then they just sort of imply that he blew up. Although right before that, they had a touching moment, so yay. But yeah, they just might have killed off one of the most interesting villains on the show, and they did it because he just cares about his daughter, which is something that he has had throughout most of the show, which just, yeah, the way it was done here and the way that Thea actually cares about him more now, I feel like was pretty rushed. Just like all of a sudden, they're bonding for a moment, and then they die, and then she dies. Or was I assume that she died? She probably died during that explosion, too. So, yeah. That was pretty pointless. And then Renee, everything going on with his daughter. While I thought that was actually pretty interesting, I think that would have made for a little bit better if it was more in the focus instead of, like, maybe they just had, like, an episode or two talking about him with that. I feel like that would have made it work a little bit better, although I will say, it was still a pretty interesting and touching story arc, so I did like Renee's arc. It's just, he's a very side character, and I feel like the development with him was kind of unneeded there. And with Curtis, he's, I don't know, he's the nerdy tech guy, even though we already have a nerdy tech guy, Felicity. So, yeah, he doesn't really serve that much of a purpose outside of he was an athlete. Still kind of is, I guess. So, yeah, that's really all there is to him outside of that. But he's alright. I mean, I don't have anything against him here. It's just, yeah, he's okay. And then we got Felicity. I'm starting to see more and more why people are disliking this character. I mean, I will say, I saw it more last season. Like, yeah, really last season. It was really heavy hitting on her, but yeah, right now, I think that she's okay. I did like that there are some nice episodes when her and Oliver just sort of sit down and talk, like when they're trapped inside that room after Prometheus locked them in. Like they're stuck in the Arrow Cave. I really liked that episode. It actually gave a lot more development to Felicity and her feelings towards Oliver and everything like that. I really liked how that was done. It's just, outside of that, they really pushed her to the side this season, presumably because of the backlash against her character lately. But yeah, overall, I feel like that might have been a bad idea. I feel like she could have been more interesting than she actually was this season. And okay, they do try and make her more like how she was a few seasons ago instead of when they started developing a romance between her and Oliver, which is nice, and I do like that. It's just that I really do wish that I didn't sort of feel like it was just in response to some backlash against her now, instead of, actually just trying to make the character more like how she originally was, just because, that's what they wanted to do. So yeah, I'm kind of iffy on that, but overall she was okay. And her boyfriend, Billy, the cop guy, what's he up to? No, he's a cop, and then he died. Although, I will say, his death was pretty amazing. You want to know what he did? Well, he was captured by Prometheus, who then dressed him up as Prometheus and put tape on his mouth so he couldn't be able to tell Oliver, hey, I'm not Prometheus, don't shoot me. And then he continued to attack Oliver as the Green Arrow, and then he got shot. Question: why did you attack Oliver? Or the Green Arrow, okay, I guess in this situation, yeah, okay, he was the Green Arrow. Why did you attack him? What was the plan here? Oh man, maybe I should not try and intimidate him, and maybe, I don't know, I could try and write something down telling him I'm not Prometheus, really, or, I don't know, I could just not fire at him and he would realize that something was off, seeing as he's actually pretty smart. No, I can't do any of that. Instead, what I gotta do is continue to attack him in order to make a fake out, so then I get killed and the audience gasps, even though, yeah, it doesn't really mean that much, because I didn't really have a character outside just being the cop guy. And I will say Billy was alright, and I did like him as a character. It's just that I wish he had more development that actually made him more interesting until he died. I really do wish they developed him a bit more outside. He has a relationship with Felicity going on, which wasn't even really that important. They barely focused on it. It's just, they got a relationship. Are you happy about that? Like, that's really it. That's all the attention that they're going to get. So, yeah, his death had no meaning to me, really. And, yeah, it was just kind of funny that he just decided, the best way to let him know that I'm not Prometheus is by doing exactly what Prometheus would do. That'll alert him that something is different here. Yeah, what? So, then we got Antony. I think I said his name right. I know it has a much more Russian sound to it, so I can't say Annie. Or Antony. So yeah, that just reminds me of an Ant-Man character. But yeah, anyway, the Russian mob guy. I don't know, I can't pronounce his name today. I've been able to throughout the whole season, but now I can't pronounce it for some reason. It's weird. But yeah, anyway, he's okay. I really liked him in this. He was a pretty fun character, and I actually very much enjoyed seeing his relationship between him and Oliver get developed more. I did like how they worked off of each other, and he was a lot of fun. So yeah, I enjoyed him. Then we got Talia. She's not in this season that much. She only comes in for the last few episodes, and when she does, feels kind of random. Just Oliver called her up, and she just sort of came, and yeah, she fights her sister. So yeah, I honestly did not even know that she had a sister until this season, but yeah, apparently she did. And apparently her sister was evil, so yeah, bummer for her, I guess. And Naya, she was just introduced this season. When she gets introduced, it feels like we should have known her this whole time. Like, she just comes in and everyone's supposed to gasp. Like, they really do put on a big music for her appearance and her reveal, and I really didn't know her. But yeah, I thought that she was okay for the most part. I really did like her more when she was training Oliver to become the Green Arrow instead of when she's against Oliver for no real reason. So yeah, I did like her more there, but I still did overall like her for the most part. Although, if I'm gonna sound stupid for a minute, I honestly thought that that was Talia because they just kept on calling her the daughter of the demon. I was just like, okay, is that Talia? How old is Talia? Did she use the Lazarus pit to do this? What? And then it's just sort of revealed that she wasn't her, it was her sister. So glad that was explained by not being explained. Then we got Diana. I actually very much enjoyed her. Like I said before, she was really awesome, and I loved her as a replacement for Black Canary. She's a much more interesting character than Laurel Lance has been for 4 seasons, even though this is just her first season, and I very much enjoyed her. So yeah, Diana, I'm really looking forward to seeing more of, and I really enjoyed her as the role of Black Canary. Then we got William. He's Oliver's son. That's pretty much it for him this season. He was pretty much just used as a plot device, really, by Adrian. Like, it's just sort of used. That's really it. He's just captured and then used that way. I really felt that was kind of boring and really just sort of made the use of William actually being Oliver's son here not really that important to me. However, I am actually very interested in seeing where they go with this character. Given the season 6 trailer that was released at Comic-Con this year, very recently by the way, I actually very much am interested in seeing where he goes. He seems to have much more of a sort of psychological breakdown after this, much more than any of the other characters, although not really many of the other characters are shown dealing with everything that happened with the explosion. So yeah, maybe they're just trying to keep it to be a surprise or something, I don't know. But yeah, I'm very interested in seeing where he goes from here. It's just this season, yeah, he was pretty boring. Then we got Lance. Like I said before, he just sort of takes a step backwards in development, really. Like his development with Felicity's mom. She's gone now, so yeah, that's gone somewhere. I'm so glad. Yeah, really, nothing happened with that. And yeah, for the most part, while I do enjoy him in this role, still I very much do enjoy Lance here, and yeah, I do like how he was done this episode in this season. It's just that I do wish that he didn't really take a step backwards with the alcoholism thing. I mean, yeah, okay, I can understand why this happened, but I really do kind of wish that it didn't really take a step backwards in his character development. And it really sort of did, in my opinion. Although that was really the only other problem that I had with him. It was just that. Outside of that, he was a lot of fun. I still enjoy him. So, then we got Slade, I guess. There weren't really that many other characters to talk about. But yeah, we got Slade. Freaking awesome. I still love Slade as a character. He's a very interesting villain to me. Even though I do find him more interesting in other shows, like Teen Titans, I do think that he is still a great character here, and I do very much enjoy him. Well, yes, he's not as threatening in this show as he was in Teen Titans or the like, and yeah, I do sort of feel like he could have been a bit more. I feel like they could have just done a little bit more with him becoming a good guy again, which, don't get me wrong, I really did like seeing him become a good guy again, because I really do like this character, and I like seeing him as a good guy. It's just, yeah, I kind of do wish that there had been, I don't know, a little bit more build up to that. It's just, like, when they go to see him, oh, yeah, by the way, kid, just so you know, I'm cured. Yeah, I don't know when this happened, it just did. Don't question it, I'm a good guy again. I'm working with you guys to help save your friends. I'm just working with you again. And yeah, that was done kind of randomly, but overall I did still very much like him in the role, and I still do very much enjoy Slade as a character. He's still very interesting, and I do want to see where he goes now being restored of his sanity. So yeah, I do like him. And yeah, I do want to see where he goes after this. So then we got Oliver. So for Oliver, I'm kind of mixed on him. On the one hand, he was actually pretty good this season. I do still very much enjoy the character. I do like how he slowly regains his humanity even more each season. It's actually pretty interesting. And this season, he seemed much closer to the comic book Ollie than he has ever before, or at least on this show, that is. So I do really like that. Although there are some moments that I found to be pretty boring with him. Like the whole, I like killing, oh my god, how could I say that arc? Yeah, super boring. He just goes on and on and on about how he how he said that he liked killing once because he was tortured to say that. Does he not understand that this is manipulation here? I mean, really, I thought that he was smarter than this, but yeah, really, he was pretty boring there. Actually, very, very boring there. So yeah, I was very much hoping that, I don't know, he would become smarter at one point or something, but nope. Just kept on dealing with this, and yeah, it was super boring there. Just him moping and moping about, oh, I said that I like killing, how could I say that? Okay, didn't really do it like that, but yeah, that's pretty much what he ended up doing, just constantly moping about it and just yelling about it. So yeah, pretty boring. However, one thing that I do actually find kind of interesting, he has now run out of flashbacks. Yes, we have now seen all 5 years of him being stuck on the island. Or, well, okay, he left Lian Yu a lot, but yeah, we've now seen all 5 of those years. So, next season, flashbackless? Maybe? Question mark? So, yeah, kind of interesting there. And I will say, I do like him a whole lot more in the flashbacks. Like I said, the story with Anatoly, I think that's how it's pronounced. Honestly, I don't know why I can't pronounce this name today. I've been able to do it throughout this whole show season here, but now, when I actually need to talk about it, I can't pronounce it correctly. It's weird. But yeah, I actually did like that story arc with them going on, and I actually found it to be a whole lot of fun by the end of it. I really enjoyed it, and hey, it was actually very good. So yeah, I really liked what was going on with that. And I will say that Oliver was actually pretty interesting this season. It's just that the biggest thing that knocked him down a peg for me this season was the, I can't believe I said I like killing. How could I? I'm such a monster who killed murderers or terrible people. Wait a minute. But yeah. Yeah, there are moments like that. So, yeah. Also, a lot throughout the season, he's debating, do I bring upon the doom that I've brought upon so many people? No, you don't. It's villains who do it. Come on, you're smarter than this, Oliver. Really, Adrian starts to make him think, you're the one who caused all these bad things that happened to happen. Like Laurel dying. She wouldn't have died if it weren't for you. Yeah, okay, that's probably true, but still, she died being a hero. How is that bad? So, yeah, really, really kind of stupid to me, and I found that to be very boring, but overall, this season, I did like him very much. He did seem very much more like how he was in Season 1, as also having been developed throughout Season 5, so I like the mix there. I really did like how that was handled, and I liked him throughout the season for the most part. But, yeah, there are just a few downsides to him to me. And then we got an annoying character, Laurel Lance! Why won't you just stay dead? Okay, so yeah, I really do hate Laurel Lance, if you can't tell. Just a bit. Really, why can't she stay dead? Seriously, do we need Laurel Lance in the show all the time? I was so happy to have seen a sword be stabbed right through her. I think that's kind of an indication I'm through with this character at this point. So yeah, I really don't like Laurel Lance. She's annoying, she's selfish, and really, she's just a bitch for the most part to me. But yeah, she's back. Joy. Although she came back as an evil Earth 2 version of herself that was on the Flash, so I did actually like that. Also, speaking of the Flash, some of the changes that happened, like with the whole Flashpoint thing, also affected this show. Like with Diggle's daughter being changed to a boy, and actually him being a bit older than how old Sarah was. So I actually did find that interesting, and although it didn't really affect much, I did like that change. It was actually kind of interesting, and I like how it didn't just stick to Flash that things changed. It did affect a lot of the other shows, so I did like that. I like how that was handled, and I thought it was pretty interesting. So yeah, that was cool. Although, back onto Laurel Lance, yeah, she came in, and now she's evil. I think that they called her Siren, or Black Siren, but, yep, she's evil, and annoying still. Now, to be fair, she's a little bit less annoying, which is surprising. Her being evil made her less annoying to me. They do try and play with her morality a bit more, which to me made her a bit more interesting, but yeah, outside of that, she's still annoying. Like I said, I like seeing her get hit by a car and get stabbed through the through the stomach or whatever. I like seeing her get hurt. I hate Laurel Lance. She's annoying to me, and I really do think that they did her more comic accurate. She would have been more interesting, because guess what? In the comic, she is awesome. Seriously, I do hate saying that I hate Laurel Lance here, because I actually very much enjoy her character from the comics or TV shows or anything that isn't from Arrow or the Arrowverse. I hate her in the Arrowverse. She is selfish, she is annoying, she never stops talking about what's going on in her life, and she's also been alcoholic just because she didn't get that much attention after her sister, well, died again. But I mean, like, yeah, okay, that makes sense, but point of order here. Sorry, I'm still getting over being sick a little bit. Okay, I'm sorry about that, but anyway, point of order here. Everyone had to deal with Sarah's death as well. They knew her as well. They were friends of hers. Just because she has a family relation to Sarah doesn't mean that she needed to be a selfish twat about it. But no, clearly she did. And yeah, she's still very annoying to me. And I think I've yelled as loud about her as I did about the lack of the question. So yeah, hope that expresses how pissed off I am about both those subjects. So yeah, her this season was a bit better than regular Earth 1 Laurel Lance, but she's still Laurel Lance, and I still don't like her, find her interesting, so yeah, didn't like her. Pretty much sums everything up about her. So then we got the Vigilante, or Vigilante, I guess. He is actually kind of interesting to me. I really did like this character. There's a lot of mystery surrounding him. However, they do nothing with him. Okay, so what happened to Vigilante? He gets thrown off a building, presumably to his death. Like, they never even show if he's still alive. He just got thrown off a building, and that's it. I actually found him to be kind of an interesting character here. Pretty much his character is, well, not really fleshed out that much, which to me is sort of what made him more interesting, but he's been killing pretty important people or criminals because either they have a criminal past or just pretty much he hates criminals or people that are like them, even if they are like politicians or something. He will get a lot of guns and snipe them down. So yeah, I actually found him pretty interesting. I think that they actually did explain his motive at one point, but I can't really remember to be sure. But yeah, anyway, I thought that he was an interesting character. I like the overall design of him, even though I do remember Vigilante with more of the design of being a cowboy. Vigilante in the comics can be weird sometimes, but yeah, I didn't really know that much about the more tactical suit Vigilante. So seeing him actually, this was kind of my first introduction to that version of the character, and I actually do very much enjoy him here. He was very interesting and a character I want to see a whole lot more of. Unfortunately, he's just pushed off a building by Prometheus, and he's never seen or heard from again. So I guess he died. Bummer. I want to see more of this guy, and yet, nope, pushed off a building. He wasn't that important, even though we were building up to important things with him, but who cares? So yeah, Vigilante really got the shaft this season, and I'm hoping that, yeah, maybe he didn't die and he's just, I don't know, been trying to rebuild everything or something. Or be better at his job of killing criminals, I don't know. But yeah, anyway, I do want to see more of this character. He's pretty interesting to me, and I'm very, very intrigued as to where they'll actually go with him. It's just that I really hope they didn't die. Speaking of things I hope the question will be here next season. Seriously, if they don't do anything with that, I am going to get pissed off. Really, I want this character in this freaking show. Is it so hard? 5 years I've been waiting for this guy, and yet nothing. Nothing. Nothing at all. I want this character in this show. I mean, really. Does he not fit the tone? I mean, he fits the tone perfectly, in my opinion. Bring him into a show. I don't care what show, just bring him into a show. I want the question. I think that I've emphasized that enough. So, yeah. Overall, to me, this season was a whole lot better than the last season. However, it does have its downsides with a pretty boring villain to me. And some characters given development that wasn't really needed, or characters that don't really get development when I feel like they should. And while some of the side characters that did get development is nice and actually kind of interesting development, it's not really given as much attention as I would have wanted, and really I feel like that was kind of a problem. I do wish that they had paid more attention to characters like Renee and Rory and people like them. Oh, by the way, Rory, he was awesome. I'm sad that his rags got destroyed by a bomb. Seriously, his rags are mystic and can stand up to anything except for a bomb. That's what defeats them. But yeah, really, I thought that he was actually a pretty interesting character, and I wish that, yeah, much like Vigilante, or someone else that I want to actually be on here, I wish that we actually got to see more of this character, and I thought that he was actually pretty interesting. So yeah, I was really disappointed by what they did with him. But anyway, yeah, I liked him. So, yeah, overall, this season, not as bad as the last one. At least it's definitely an improvement. And it did get me very excited about some episodes, which is more than I could say for the last season, or maybe even at some points in season 3. So I do like that change. I do like how they made this season more interesting, and they did add a whole lot more stakes to it. The surprising cliffhanger ending, I am actually very interested in seeing where they go with it. And the characters did get some decent development, or went back to how they originally were, which was also nice. So, although sometimes that was a problem to me with characters like Diggle and Thea, as Thea just sort of went back to being Thea. That's kind of it. I liked her more as a fighter, or at least since they already did something with her becoming a soldier and a fighter and a warrior and everything. Okay, more of a warrior, I guess. Like, okay, since she became a warrior, let her stick as a warrior. She's a freaking warrior now. Why is she just becoming a manager of a mayor? Like, what's the point? Like, really, I really don't like how that was changed there. I mean, it makes sense for her character, but honestly, I feel like she would have been a whole lot more awesome sticking as Speedy, but fortunately that didn't happen, so I should just stop saying anything about it, I guess. But yeah, overall, I think this season was pretty good. Not as good as some other seasons like season 1 and 2, and there are definitely some missed opportunities in my opinion. One day you'll get your chance. He'll get his chance. He better at least. He better get his chance. Seriously, I've been hearing that Kevin Smith wants to make a question movie. Power to you, man. Make a question movie. Do something with this character. I want something done with him. A lot. So anyway, yeah. Overall, pretty decent season. Not perfect or as good as some of the other previous seasons. To me, this one fits more with season 3's style, where it's okay, but there have definitely been better versions in my opinion, but I do still think that was actually done pretty well. So yeah, overall, not that bad. Not as good as the first two, but still pretty decent for what it is. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Bye. Make a movie or a show about the question. That's my final thoughts here. just do something with this character. And preferably with Jeffrey Combs in the role. I really love Jeffrey Combs' portrayal of this character. So please do something with this character before Jeffrey Combs is too old to play him. I know that he's like in his 60s, which, yeah, might be a little bit too old to play this guy. He's like in his 30s, but I don't care. Do it, please. Please. I'm just showing that I'm a nerd now. I'm just gonna go now, okay? So, yeah. Bye.